Drainage cups. So in a previous video, I talked a little bit about logical forces. Forces, of course, being a way to force a participant in the world of magic or virginity, whatever you want to call it, to pick a particular card. Today, we're going to be talking about my top 3 logical controls. Now, for some reason, I tend to get a lot of comments saying, hey man, why do you wear the same shit every day? Why do you have the same shirt that you wear every day? And that's because this is merch. It's called merch, all right? I wear it because I sell it, and I'm trying to sell it. So if you're complaining about me wearing the same shirt every day, maybe you should look at yourself, you dirty, gross magician wearing probably the same shit, and you don't even have merch. You're just probably wearing the same shit because it's on top of the pile that you have in your room, you gross fucking shower. So control in the world of magic is just a simple way of saying that you are getting control over a certain card in the deck. So today I'm going to be going over 3 of the most logical controls. Again, logical meaning something that would make actual sense. For some reason, magicians tend to trick themselves into thinking that what they do is logical and something that would actually happen in the real world. Most of it is not. Actually, none of it. None of it is logical. So the first one here, let's say that we picked the 4 of diamonds. So that card is lost hopelessly in the deck. Now, what as a person would you do if you want to mix the order of the card? You would shuffle them. You would shuffle them, right? And in this case, that pretty much is the control. That's it, because that card is now on top of the deck. Now, if you want, you could bury the top card. Like in some poker games, you could bury the bottom card. You can mix the deck up again, and of course it doesn't matter because the card is still on top. So let's go over how we actually do that. Again, very simply, all we're doing, we're spreading the cards, we're having a card picked, we're having it returned to the pack, and we're putting our pinky there. We're putting our gross little pinky there to separate both halves there in what we call Pinkie Break. Maybe you would learn that if you were a member of the Pigcake Magic Academy. $5 a month gets you 2 videos every single week going over card, some coin stuff there, over 400 videos already. What? Huh? Why are you missing out? Huh? Rave reviews all around. People always sending me messages saying, hey, this is the best thing that I've ever done in the world of magic, which might be a little bit of hyperbole, but you know what? Fuck you, all right? Fuck you. So check it out, links in the description below. You could sign up, you could take a look at it. $5 a month is like a White Claw. It's like a White Claw a month, so you could definitely do that. That sounds like a little bit of an e-girl, one of these e-girl thotties, but at least I'm giving you an actual service and providing something in value for that actual money as opposed to just showing my boobs. So you have a Pinkie Break, and all you're gonna do here is you're gonna lift up all the cards of the Pinkie Break. You're going to grab with your dirty little fingers at the back end here and just revolve this half to a riffle shuffle position. That's it. A lot of people like to riffle to this position. I don't like doing that because then you could potentially expose the break. So the way to mitigate that is just simply lifting up all the cards above the break, grabbing this bottom half and revolving it just in your hands like this. So now remember, their card is over here, the top card of this pile. So all you need to do is when you shuffle, make sure that that card stays over there. Just that's it. That's it. And that card is now on top of the deck. Now, if you want to burn the card, like in some sort of weird game that they play at a retirement home, what you're doing here, was that a joke? Was that an attempt at humor? I think it was. You're just going to take the bottom card and put it in the middle, and then you're going to take the top card and put it right there in the middle as you get a break. I'm just pushing up right here as I get a break right there above the card, and I just repeat the same action, rinse and repeat. It's like Mr. Clean. Ah, man, I'm really fucking losing it when it comes to the jokes here. But that card is now on top of the deck, and you have what you call a logical control. Now the next one here is one of my favorites. It's definitely one that I do all the time when it comes to these videos, and I think it's one of the simplest ones because it allows you to do anything you want here. You could control the card, you could peek at the card, you could keep the card on top of the deck, and at this point that card is being mixed. And this is a sort of shuffle you see people do all the time. It isn't one of these shuffles that you might only see magicians do for some reason, that they trick themselves into thinking that, hey, this is normal. Yeah, we're in some parts of Asia, they shuffle like this. First of all, I've never seen anybody shuffle a deck like this that's not a magician. People shuffle like this if they're gonna shuffle in this overhand Hindu style. So don't give me that. Don't give me that. My virginity matches no one. It knows no limits. So in this case, the Mahatma control, very simple. All we're gonna do is we're gonna have a card picked. In this case, the 9 of hearts. We're gonna square it up just like this and keep a break right there above it, much like before. We're gonna lift up all the cards above the break, just like this. Look at this, look at this. And we're gonna shuffle them to the bottom. That's it. That's all that's taking place. No complication here necessary. We're just shuffling that packet to the bottom. So one more time, that card is there. We get a break, lift up all the cards above the break, and shuffle them to the bottom, just like this. I keep repeating just like this as if it's a Brad Christian video from Illusionist in 2004. But here, we're gonna use our dirty fingertips to squeeze on the top and the bottom card. So now, that card actually stays there. You see that if I lift up, that card actually stays in the bottom of the deck. So when I shuffle the cards, it's there on top of the deck. I don't need to worry about it. And I look like I'm actually mixing the cards up. I look like I'm actually shuffling them. If you want, you could actually combine methods here. Do a riffle shuffle. Make sure that this half is the half that stays with the card on top, and you're ready to blow some. So the next one is one of my favorite controls when I'm not too busy thinking of jumping the nearest bridge. The spectator picks a card. In this case, it's the 2 of hearts. The 2 of hearts. This card goes in the middle of the deck. And of course, you reiterated they could have picked any card they wanted in the deck. And of course, in that action, you could bury the top card, you could bury the bottom card, and their card is right there on top. Burial optional. So in this case, we're doing the oops control. This is one of my favorite controls of all time. This is possibly the best control of all time because it's something you would do normally. How many times do you spread a deck of cards and you accidentally have a card that you've left face up? Always. Always. So in this case, you're gonna take advantage of that. And this does require a little bit of a setup. But it's fairly easy to do. All you gotta do is just reverse the card that is second from the face of the deck. So this card is going the other way, and that's it. So now you have a card that's picked. All you need to do is make sure that you cut the cards so that this little packet, which is the original bottom card, goes on top of that card. This could be done in multiple ways. If you want, you could cut this to the table and then put this on top when they put their card on top. You could do it. All right, you're capable of this, but this card is gonna go making sure that this half goes above that card, and you're good to go. At this point, you could spread the cards, telling the spectator they could have picked any one of these cards. You're gonna notice this card. Now at this point, you have a couple options. You could either say, fuck, my father really left me. Or you could say, oh, and turn this card over. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna grab this card, turning this packet face up, and I'm going to cut this packet underneath to the bottom as I continue spreading the cards. That's it. So now their card is second from the top of the deck. So at this point, I could just bury the top card, bury the bottom card as I do a little bit of exposition, and that card is on top. Now, if you don't want to bury the cards, you could just simply have the card face up on the bottom. So when the spectator picks a card, all you need to do is make sure that, again, that bottom card goes above their card. And now you don't need to do any burial. You don't need to do anything. You could just spread to the card, cut it to the bottom, keep spreading, and their card is on top. I just like the little added thing because it looks like more of a random sporadic situation. So there you have it. Those are 3 logical controls that you could do anytime with a deck of cards that make sense. They're not something that you would have to work for necessarily. They're pretty simple to do, and they're controls that would be something you would see in the real world. All right, I'm tired of seeing Magic and people do stuff in the world of card magic or magic in general that they say, no, this is what people do normally. It's not. It's not. You are an abomination, and you deserve to know it and be reminded of it every single time I make a video or every single time you breathe. So make sure to do all the things that people do when it comes to videos. I really do appreciate you guys watching this and taking the time off your very busy days to watch card trick tutorials. So I'm going to go figure out different ways to use blue tape. I think I've used that one before. I'm going to figure out different ways to use a life-size glass head to hold my hats. It's actually holding the hats right now. There's a pineapple hat. There's a Coke hat. This is a hat. And then there's a MAGA hat. There's a MAGA hat there. Bitch, stupid ass. Mind your own business, all right? Mind your own business and don't worry about my business, okay? My business is not your business, okay? So I miss Bernie Sanders.